Imagine you are walking through an open field. The sun is shining, the air is light. Around you, you see blurs of light, other people running, jumping, floating as if gravity didn't exist for them. They laugh, they stumble and get up laughing, but you don't. You feel the earth sink with every step you take, because on your back there are no wings, no school bag with notebooks and dreams. There are rocks. Dark, ancient rocks with sharp edges that seem fused to your own skin. You are a child, perhaps 7, 8, or 10 years old, but your eyes carry the weariness of an elder who has seen empires fall. You look at those distant shadows playing and feel a deep, almost painful urge to join them. You take a step, but the moment your body relaxes, the backpack glows with a red alert, pulsing with heat and danger. An ancient voice whispers in your mind, "Don't get distracted. If you let go of the weight, the world will crumble." And you recoil. You return to vigilance.
Welcome to the silent reality of a child who never played, just like me. They say childhood is the garden where we plant who we will become. But for some of us, that garden was a silent battlefield where survival demanded that we kill the child within to make way for a little general, a strategist, a guardian. If you feel you carry an invisible weight, an exhaustion that doesn't go away with sleep, or if you feel responsible for fixing everyone's mood around you, this video is a map for you. Today, we're going to name this backpack of stones. We're going to understand how this weight has distorted your attitude towards life. But above all, we're going to discover how this same rock, when cracked in the right way, reveals the gold needed to build the bridge back to yourself. There's a compliment that's actually a disguised scar. How many times have you heard, "Wow, you're so mature for your age. He's an old soul. She's no trouble at all. She seems like a grown-up." We smile and accept it as a badge of honor. But in reality, it wasn't a prize. It was proof of a theft. In Tolkien's universe, we see hobbits as light-hearted creatures, lovers of comfort. But when Frodo receives the ring, he loses that lightness. He doesn't age physically, but his shadow grows. This is exactly what happens in developmental psychology. When a child needs to assume emotional or physical responsibilities that should belong to their parents, whether caring for younger siblings, being the mother's marital therapist, or the confidant of the father's frustrations, a phenomenon called parentification occurs. It's not just about doing household chores, it's about reversing the natural order of things. A child is like a small boat that must be anchored by the large ship of the parents. When the large ship is adrift, due to addiction, depression, immaturity, or absence, the small boat desperately tries to anchor the ship. It's an impossible task. It's a violation of emotional physics, but the child tries. And to try, they need to shut down their own needs. She learns that having needs is dangerous. Crying is bothersome. Playing is irresponsible. Laughing loudly risks breaking the fragile balance of the house. So she puts on her armor. She carries her backpack of stones. This child's brain undergoes a fascinating and terrifying adaptation. Imagine your brain as a watchtower. In a safe childhood, the watchman in that tower sleeps most of the time, waking only when there's a real bear. But in the parentified child, the watchman never sleeps. He's always on the ledge, binoculars in hand, scanning the horizon. You learn to read the atmosphere. You knew from the sound of the key in the door what your father's mood was. You knew from your mother's breathing if she was sad or angry. You became an expert in micro-expressions even before you knew how to read and write. This hypervigilance was necessary. It kept you safe.
It allowed you to anticipate emotional storms and prepare for them. You became useful in order to be loved, or at least not to be abandoned. But this adaptation comes at a cost. The watchman in the tower consumes all the kingdom's energy. There's nothing left for creativity, spontaneity, or mistakes. For the parentified child, mistakes are not learning experiences. They are catastrophic failures in the security system. And here, in the middle of this arid journey, we need to pause our group. We're going deep down the rabbit hole, exploring caves most prefer to leave in the dark.
If you feel this journey resonates with your story, if you see value in mapping out complex emotional territories, I want to invite you to join this channel. I'm not asking for your subscription out of vanity, but as a call to the campfire. Here, we analyze the human mind and the narrative of life with the depth they deserve.
If you want to continue receiving these keys to unlock the ancient doors of your mind, subscribe and activate the bell. Let's transform this army of one man or woman into a community of wisdom. Now, back to our watchtower. The problem with this structure is that the child grows. The body stretches, you leave home, get a job, enter into relationships. The war is over, but nobody told the watchman. The backpack of stones, once a survival tool, now becomes an insurmountable obstacle. You become the adult who can't relax, the adult who feels guilty when resting, the adult who attracts partners who need to be saved or fixed because your brain only knows how to relate through utility and excessive care. You are the wounded healer. You carry the world on your shoulders, and secretly, you feel a bitter resentment growing, an exhaustion that seeps into your bones. Because deep down, the inner child is screaming, "What about my turn? When will they take care of me?"
You try to enter a normal life, but the stone backpack bangs against the door frames. It knocks over vases. It prevents anyone from truly hugging you because the armor is too thick. The loneliness of the child who matured too early is the loneliness of being surrounded by people, but feeling that no one really sees you. They only see what you can do for them. It is the weight of Mordor that does not disappear when the ring is destroyed, the shoulder wound that aches on cold days. But as in every good epic story, the shadow is not the end. It's merely the pretext for the light to shine more brightly. There is a breaking point. The stone cracks. Usually, this happens through burnout, a depressive crisis, or a painful breakup. It's the moment when you fall to your knees and say, "I can't take it anymore." It seems like the end, but it's the beginning of Act 4. It's the light. When the stone cracks, something incredible happens. From within those dark fissures, no blood comes out. Gold comes out, a golden, liquid, and warm light. You realize that your story wasn't a waste. Hypervigilance, when healed and calmed, transforms into profound empathy. The ability to read environments, which once served to predict dangers, now serves to connect souls. Your forced maturity has given you a resilience and adaptive strength that few possess. The turning point isn't about throwing away your backpack. That would erase who you are. The turning point is alchemy. It's about taking those broken stones and, instead of building walls to protect yourself, using them to build bridges. The world around you begins to change color. The gray of survival gives way to watercolor tones, blue and orange, the dawn of a new life. You, now a conscious adult, look back and see that frightened child. But instead of ignoring or criticizing her, you go back to her. You become the father and mother she never had. You take the weight off her shoulders and say, "You can go play now. I'll take over from here. I'm big enough to handle reality." And then you take the fragments of that ancient stone, now bathed in gold, and build a bridge so that other people can cross their own abysses. You discover that your pain has become your medicine, that the weight that almost crushed you is the same substance that now gives you the foundation to support others, no longer as a slave to need, but as a master of compassion. If you were the kind of child who never played, know that it's never too late to have a happy childhood. Not the one of the past, which has already been written, but the one of now. Allow yourself to be carefree. Allow yourself to laugh for no reason. Allow yourself to let go of the stone. The world won't end if you rest. In fact, that's when your real world can finally begin. The true journey isn't about carrying the weight of the world. It's about discovering that you are worthy of walking lightly on this earth. Am I right? Confirm with me. Leave a comment along with others that you too are worthy, just like me. Warriors, we're all in this together.